So in this video, I want to talk about the anime known as Our Dating Story, The Experienced You and the Inexperienced Me. This is based on a light novel, and currently, as planned, it is a 12-episode season. And the thing I like about this series is the fact that it tries to be more grounded in the romance drama aspect, even though the tags are on many websites just a romance school setting, but there is a sort of dabble of drama in it through different parts of the series, particularly the anime, because I haven't read the source material. And what I like about it is it tries to be grounded. It tries to create realistic dramas that don't seem almost alien to it. Like, I don't mind those in series, but I do feel like those do get overdone a fair bit. And recently there have been some good romance series like this where they try and make the characters feel a little bit more believable in the situations. And especially with this, it does go into some interesting topics that at first, when the anime first came out, I saw a lot of drama for it, like people saying that it was unrealistic, but the funny thing is the things that were being talked about in the anime and being touched on as a topic were realistic, and this is of course to do with the main female protagonist and her expectations on relationships and how she was seen as someone that kind of slept around a fair bit with different couples, and she would only ever last in a relationship for a couple of months, then they would end up breaking up. Variety of different reasons. I felt like they kind of implied that the guys generally just got bored of her because they just didn't really care about who she was as a person, were more just seeing her as like a piece of meat or an object. And that is very realistic. I mean, remember in my high school days and also at TAFE, which is like college campus to, I think, Americans, it was one of those where you definitely saw how, like, if a girl was that expectation of sleeping with the partner very quickly after entering a relationship, it was like almost like that very week. And because of that, it led to a lot of those situations where men would, like, they would gossip amongst each other. Like, you think it's exclusive to women? No, men do gossip, and they would say, oh yeah, I've been with her and blah blah blah, and so they would kind of see her as like, oh yeah, well, if you want to get laid, go date her for a couple of months and then dump her once you're bored. And so she has this weird perception of what is a relationship, and the first thing she's realizing while dating this guy is that, hey, you don't have to like sleep with the guy within the first day of dating him. You can start things slow and build your way up, and it feels like a genuine romance where they're building one step up at a time. I will say one of the things that I actually liked was people weren't complaining about the fact that the relationship is already established, because one complaint that I see that then people complain about when it's not the problem is people will complain that it takes 3 seasons for an anime for it to get to the part where the couple gets together, and people want an anime where the couple is actually together. And then when that happens and an anime is like this, they then complain. It's like, oh, it's boring. I want the series to be them about falling in love and them just, and it's like, this kind of does both. They're together, but they're also discovering their feelings for each other, and it's building and building and building. And there are a couple of animes that do that, but it's just one of those where it's like, you're doomed if you do, you're doomed if you don't, which is why I'm really happy to see. But I also think the reason why is because this isn't as popular as a series. It's kind of, it got a little bit of drama at the start, and then most of those people moved on to other dramas to whinge about, and so the series kind of got left alone, and mostly it's just people that genuinely enjoy it that are still watching it. So that's probably a good thing, to be honest. I feel like as a series gets more popular, it draws in that drama, then becomes more popular. It's like a cascading effect. So it can be nice that it just kind of sticks to a small group of a community that just generally enjoy these kind of series. And then of course you've got the dramas in them. A certain girl that rejected the main protagonist, now suddenly she has feelings for him now. And it's one of those that does happen quite a lot, where a girl will decline the feelings of someone, or the male, and it can be the other way around as well, but in this case, it's the female rejecting the male, and then years later they've moved on, but then they get upset that they've moved on because now suddenly they have feelings. And in a shorter scale, I've actually had that happen to me, where I've confessed to someone, they've rejected me, and then months later, dating someone else, and then they get upset that you've moved on over months in a period, and it's like, well, you rejected me, why should I still be hung up over you? It's not like we dated or anything. And that is actually a very common thing. It's happened to me, just a different scale of time. It is funny. I do feel like watching this anime, this is going to be a reoccurring problem where this girl is going to be a bit of a thorn in the side, and the main protagonist is very shy and timid, so he's struggling to know how to deal with this. And you can tell he's very inexperienced, not just in a relationship, but also socially as well, because he's seen as an otaku, and he's got his own friends. His friends are terrible, by the way. I love the way they kind of get like really... And I mean, that is kind of friends sometimes, where they get like jealous of you like getting a girlfriend that's really attractive, and they kind of almost wish that you did not succeed. But to me, I feel like that is still being a terrible friend. But hey, we're all human. We're all terrible in some way, shape, or form. I like it. I like the pacing of it. I like the animations. It's simple, it's elegant, it's nice, and the music complements the actual... the mood towards it, and the fact that it isn't just all drama. There's definitely those situations where they're just doing fun stuff, like what I would classify as laser skirmishing, but there wasn't laser skirmishing. It was the little balls that they fire at each other. But there's all these little moments, these touching moments, where you can see them building their relationship, and it isn't just one of those where it's like, it feels like OVAs where it's just like, yeah, they do something and they're just constantly going out on dates 6-8 episodes later, but nothing progresses. You can feel the romance, you can feel that they are making progress, to go from hand holding to more cuddly stuff to kissing, but they don't have to go to that final stage. And that's the thing, that was one of the things that was mentioned in the early stages of the story, is that she didn't have to go that far, and that when she's ready, she will do that. And so it's just an interesting way of looking at the story, because again, as I mentioned before, people complained about that, saying, oh, that's problematic. It's like, no, that is a real issue, where expectations in a couple, either way, it's not just female problem, it's also a male problem, where expectations are expected of the individuals that feel almost unrealistic. And so it's cute. I mean, the one thing I feel like people would say is unrealistic is the fact that it's a really attractive female character with a really nerdy, timid, shy guy. But there are a lot of girls out there that like that kind of personality. Again, everyone has different tastes. Everyone has their own what spice, what coloration, taste, whatever you want to use, to what they want in a relationship. And I think this one individually is just, it's nice, it's cute, it's heartwarming, I really enjoy it. And of course the supporting cast as well really complements the story, especially the overprotective friend. They slowly warm up to them. That's a nice touch as well. It's very realistic, having a friend of the female cast where she can see from an outside perspective the problems that her friend goes through and how people treat her, or how a lot of her male partners treat her. And so she's very protective when she enters into another relationship, and she's like, well, you know, she doesn't trust this boy, thinking that he's only in it for a one-night stand or something. But as time goes on, he's proved himself, and so she becomes a lot more receptive, she's a lot more communicating, and they work together for things like, hey, buying a birthday present. It's just, the characters feel grounded and realistic, and that's one thing I want to emphasize on, is that it feels like a proper good romance. It's not alien type concepts, which I don't mind those in some romances, especially some of the harem ones where it's like fan servicey crazy stuff, shenanigans always going on. But it is nice to have a bit of a different variation when it comes to my romances. So I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think of our dating story, the experienced you and the inexperienced me? I think it's a great series. I highly recommend it for those that want a good romance school setting with a hint of drama in it. There's some interesting spins as well. So again, if you like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful nerds in the next video.